Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me again today. I have a really special guest who I'm so excited to talk to.
I'm so excited to be here. We're going to have so much fun.
It's Dr. Liz Treynor. Liz describes herself as a pathologist, a mother, a wife, a friend, a budding podcaster, a surfer, avid yogi, tandem Zoom biker, world explorer, struggling meditator, and sometimes introvert. No way. She has got so much energy and fun.
All of the above. All of the above. I like to say I'm a medicated introvert so that I am able to be myself around people because I was so shy as a kid to the point where I was afraid to buy my candy and like interact with the cashier, like to have to give him my money was so like traumatic for me. I was so shy as a kid. Everybody would say, oh, she's so sensitive because I cry so easily. But so anyway, I'm much more happy and evolved now. And I love the idea of your podcast, Inner Laughter. I just think it's such a wonderful, joyful mission. And I'm just delighted to be invited to be a part of it. So,
well, thank you. I'm so glad you're here because I know that you are so much fun. I mean, I have enjoyed so much getting to know you, and it's just so much fun to talk to you, and we laugh all the time. So I'm so excited to talk more specifically.
Yes.
So I want to know, how do you define joy? Do you think it's an action, a thought, a feeling, all the above, something else? How would you?
I love this question. Joy for me is a feeling, and in my body, it feels like warmth that radiates through my chest and my whole being. It just radiates from my heart throughout every piece of my body into the universe. And I feel it's taken me a long while to feel like this isn't woo-woo, but I really do feel like there's something to the fact that we are all energy beings and we are all creating vibrations. And I do believe that the emotions that we're feeling are contagious. And I do think that when I'm feeling joy, I am not afraid to talk to people, and I can give that energy, or at least share my own energy, which tends to, at least I hope, lift other people up too. So joy for me is a feeling in my chest of hope and expanse and possibility and connection and meaning and delight and curiosity. And I felt it just this morning. I was in Santa Cruz this morning with my aunt. We call it the tree house. She has a little place in Santa Cruz that's in the woods, in the redwoods, and she has a hot tub. And I was sitting in the hot tub talking to her. We're both naked. And the fire station is right across the street, right? So it's like all the little firemen, if they happen to poke their heads out, they'd see our old little boobs hanging out. But we just have a great time chatting in the hot tub. And I looked up as I was sitting there, and there was a spider probably 6 inches above my eyes, who was completely unaware of me in the hot tub right below her. And she was spinning her web, not her web, but she was like kneading her silk, like the ball she was tossing back and forth between her two lovely balletic legs. And I'd never seen a spider up that close doing that dance of growth, and like she's just living in that moment. And I just felt like this sense of wonder of this beautiful creature. Like my daughter is afraid of spiders to the point my son is afraid of spiders. Okay. He's 18, like to the point where if there's a spider in the room, we have to go in and get it for them. I'm like, honey, you're old enough, you can do this. And so I put it back on them. Like, you have to get through this. But I have never been afraid of spiders. And in fact, I think they're amazing creatures. And 8 is my favorite number, and they have 8 legs.
Yep.
But so anyway, so all that was a big long tangent about what is joy, because that was like this moment of wonder and joy, just seeing what was right in front of me. at that magical moment.
Mhm.
And when I'm really depressed,
Mhm.
what I find helps me out of that space
Mhm.
is iPhone photography. I love focusing, like literally focusing on what's right in front of me.
Mhm.
And I like just walking in nature and just noticing what's right in front of me, be it a flower, an insect, a bird, the trees. Like I remember it being so um, just unable to get out of bed. My husband had to literally drag me out of bed one Sunday morning because I was so in that dark place. And
Mhm.
we went for a walk, and it was the most beautiful fall day. And I found that my favorite pictures are the ones that I take when I'm in that other place, because that allows my creativity out and allows me to slow down and allows me to focus
Mhm.
on the things that when I have more energy, I buzz past. Um, and so anyway, those are some ruminations on joy, the highs, the lows, right? And I love the Khalil Gibran poem that sorrow and joy are two sides of the same coin.
Mhm.
The idea that you can't have one without the other, right?
Right.
To have that full spectrum of human experience, you need to have both,
Right.
and I have that in spades. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so that's the good thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you mentioned a couple of things about being out in nature, but are there other things that bring you joy, or when do you feel the
Oh,
most joy?
yes, so many things. That's such great questions. Let's see. Obviously, the usual things like my work. I love my work. Um, you know, uh, there's so many things that I enjoy doing, but being a pathologist is one of, well, obviously being a mother too. Like I don't want to diss my kids or anything, but pathology is one of my great joys. I find it so fascinating and interesting, and I love being able to help my surgeons and help my patients and figure
Mhm.
out how we can treat them, and it's beautiful. Pathology is beautiful. I see the most beautiful things under my microscope.
Mhm.
And so microscopic photography is something else that I really do enjoy doing. So taking pictures for tumor boards for me is so much fun. And my partner hates doing tumor boards. And she's like, "You're making me look bad because you take such good pictures and you spend so much time." I'm like, "But it makes me happy. I like doing it." So other things that bring me joy, working out. I am definitely a huge fan of put your own oxygen mask on first. I have to get my sleep. I have to get my exercise.
Mhm.
I make that a priority. I remember somebody in residency saying, like, "God, how do you have so much time to work out?" I'm like, I make it a priority. I choose to make it a priority. And um, for me, it's critical to my sanity. If I don't um, do that, I start to feel it. If I don't get enough sleep,
Mhm.
um, my brain doesn't work as well.
Mhm.
And so you can see the spin bike in my back. And I have my barbell behind the couch over there. That's
That's
my
awesome.
gym over there. So exercise, being in nature, obviously being with my loved ones, my husband is um, just we both feel like we won the lottery. We feel so lucky. Uh, that's kind of a fun story too, how we met, and I'll tell you that in a second. But the other things that bring me joy, uh, creativity is something I'm trying to embrace more, because as a doctor, that's something that's kind of gotten left behind
Mhm.
in my many years of trying to train and be the best doctor I could be and be the best pathologist I could be. Um, and so the idea of starting my own podcast was never on my radar until somebody thought I might be an interesting person to interview on her podcast. And so you've heard that podcast, and then I was like, wow, if Whaley can do it, well, maybe I can do it. And wow, what would I want to do a podcast on? And so it's been a really fun creative journey to think about how I can put my voice out in the world and make the world a better place. So um, for me, joy is all of those all of those things, and that warm feeling that just radiates out into the universe. There's my woo woo.
Yeah, well, and I think you kind of touched a little bit just to highlight what you said about, being a doctor, we use so much one side of our brain, and just to bring in that creativity to balance it out. So that kind of brings that joy flavor in there too, to have a little bit more balance. So yeah.
Exactly.
And did you want to tell the story about how you met your
husband? Oh, sure. I'd love to. So I think one of the wonderful questions, because you do warn your guests, me, ahead of time, like what kinds of questions we're going to be asked. And one of them was about a time when I was able to transition myself from a dark place to a different place. And on June 9th, 2010, I broke up with the guy I was dating, whom I knew it wasn't going to work out with for many, many months. And I should have broke up with him a lot sooner. But I went over to pick up my tandem bicycle, which was still at his house, and came home. And then I was looking forward to going to dinner with some girlfriends, and every single one of them canceled. There were 4 of us that were going to go out that night, and one had a bad stomach, and one had another conflict all of a sudden, like, that came up. Anyway, unbelievably, every single one of them had to cancel. So I'm on my own, and I was so looking forward to connecting with my girlfriends. And I was like, okay, I've been on Match before. I'm just going to go on Match.com. I'm just going to see what's on the menu today, right? Because I hadn't done it for a couple of years because I'd been dating this other guy. And so I'm just going through the thing, and it has you rate some people, and the algorithm says, based on who you've rated, you might like this handsome doctor. Ooh. And I was like, ooh. Oh, he's really cute. Oh, he makes me laugh. Oh my God. He lives in Palo Alto. He's only 5 miles away. Oh my God. Oh. And one of his first sentences was like, my kids are my priority, and if you don't get that, we're not a fit. And I'm like, cool. That's my feeling as well. And long story short, I squeezed him in between 2 other Match dates. The next day I was hiking with somebody in the morning, and then I had another coffee date in the afternoon. And so I squeezed Chuck in between those 2 dates so I could meet him, because I'm like, oh, I really want to meet him. And I remember walking to the date and thinking, oh God, I don't want to do this. I just want to sit home and read the New York Times. This is way too painful. Why do I keep putting myself out there? And I turned the corner and I'm like, oh, he's really cute. And we sat down, and the first thing he said to me is, I just got to warn you, the last 3 women I dated all fell in love with me by the 3rd date. And I'm like, okay, if I fall in love with him, I'm not going to tell him, because I'm already thinking he's like pretty cute and like a perfect fit, because he's a radiologist. So I remember his tagline was, yes, I'm a Jewish doctor. Your mother would be so proud, which I thought was so cute and funny. And so great. I'd written him, hi, Dr. Chuck, what's your specialty? Warmly, Dr. Liz. And I was thinking, oh, he's probably a surgeon. I wouldn't want to date a surgeon. They have no life. And oh, he's probably an internist. They have no life. No offense to my peers there, but when he wrote back and he said he was a radiologist, I'm like, oh my God, this guy has a life. And anyway, so I went from feeling 0 and really depressed to putting myself out there, taking a risk, and finding a little nugget of gold, whom I'm now married to, and we've been together for almost 10 years. So I feel like I make my own luck. Never giving up, keep putting myself out there, kept trying. And yes, it is a matter of timing and luck, but because I was not willing to sit on my butt and just read the New York Times every weekend, which would be so much more comfortable. I was able to connect with literally the man of my dreams. I'd had this dream many years ago about this guy in a spaceship. Like, we were out in space, and I'm like, oh my God, this is the love of my life. Like, I could feel it in the dream. Anyway, we've had some Teslas at the house, and his most recent Tesla was named Chuck's spaceship.
Ah.
Isn't that awesome? So, right, because Elon was doing his, Tesla in space, like right before we bought that car. And so anyway, I just thought that was kind of fun that
That's
went full
great.
circle.
Oh,
But,
I love that.
isn't that a fun story?
Yes.
So,
awesome.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right. So now, because you have this man of your dreams, please do tell us a time about a story with your family or maybe on vacation, that you just love so much that you wish you could repeat.
Oh, what a wonderful question. I have to give that a noodle for a second. Let's see. Well, the first thing that came to mind is my husband's family has a family cabin up at Priest Lake in Idaho, which they've had for almost 100 years. Mm-hmm. And I thought when Ben and I divorced, one of the things that I was really sad about is that I would never be able to go to that cabin again. Mm. And I was delighted that that was not the case. Ben's aunt and I who's the one in Santa Cruz where I was admiring the spider. But that's Ben's aunt. And I've just really resonated with her and connected with her. And she wanted me to come to the lake. And so through her, I've continued to be able to go to the lake with my friends and my kids and my new husband. In fact, Chuck and I had been dating for about a week when I said, hey, do you want to come with me to Idaho? Out in the woods, middle of nowhere. And he was like, yeah, sure. So I'm fire, he's water. Like he's game to do anything. So we are just such a great complement. So I took him to Priest Lake in Idaho in July of, 2010? Mm-hmm. And it was just such a, it's like a feeling. It's not a specific event, but that lake is it's just brings a feeling of joy and relaxation because it is such a beautiful place. Mm-hmm. The water is crystal clear. It's in the summer, it's warm enough. You don't need a wetsuit or anything. Just to float in the lake, and there's a waterfall we can hike to. There's there's this hammock where I just love to read books. I just want to read books by the lake. That's like my favorite thing is just to cuddle in the hammock with my husband or my daughter while we're reading books and take a nap in the hammock every day.
Awesome.
And then when it's raining, the sound of the rain on the roof, and it's just so relaxing to do nothing.
It sounds amazing.
Nice.
Where's this? I want to go.
Right. Oh, it's so beautiful. It's Priest Lake in Idaho. I feel like it's the best kept secret in the Northwest, but we fly into Spokane and then it's an hour and a half drive to this very remote lake. It's an 8 miles north-south and it's about 2 miles across. So it's this huge lake. Wow. And the family home is next to Hunt Creek. So there's the fresh water flowing in right there. We found a turtle there one year in the creek. And so there's 5 generations of family that come. Wow. And again, this is my outlaws cabin, right? And the fact that I am still welcome there. I love my outlaws. I love my husband. I feel very, very lucky that I have such an awesome family that my kids have extra parents, like Nick's stepmom was able to go to his Davis graduation last weekend because I had a conflict, but he had only 2 tickets with the COVID situation. And so it's just, and then tonight we're celebrating my other son, who's technically my stepson's graduation with Chuck's wife and her husband and my kids and his kids. It's like we're all like one big crazy Brady Bunch spider web of a family, right? Because there's like the whole Ben side and then there's the whole Michelle side and then we all come together and it's pretty awesome.
There's a lot of love there. That's awesome.
There's a lot of love there. So, and I love to share it. I love, and that's, what I want to do with my podcast is just, help, help people find pain, not find pain, but help people rediscover joy. That's my mission. And to normalize conversations about mental health and to present practitioners of alternative therapies. A lot of us are physicians, and in Western medicine, we're not taught about the benefits of acupuncture or hypnotherapy. And those are things that I had mentioned to you, I've both found very, very helpful in my personal life. And that there are physicians that have expertise in these areas that I will be interviewing. And so I really am interested in destigmatizing mental illness and helping people rediscover joy and finding tools to get there. So that's my mission.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, I want to ask you another question, because I want you to share with us a time where you just erupted into spontaneous laughter, where you just couldn't control it. It just came up and out of you.
Oh gosh, that's a hard one, Alice. I have to say, I can't. Okay, let me think. Oh my God. Okay. All right. There are a couple. Okay. All right. Okay. I say really goofy things, like, because I have no filter. So I love my husband because he adores me no matter what. Like, I cannot embarrass him. Like, the guy I broke up with the day before I found my husband, everything I said would make him angry, which would then make me cry. Like, he was embarrassed that I asked for extra salsa, but like, I wanted extra salsa.
Right.
It's like, God, you're so demanding. I'm like, I wanted extra salsa, big deal. But the point is, I am very self-deprecating. Oh, that's my husband. And I like to laugh a lot. And I've said some pretty funny, silly things that I didn't realize were silly and funny at the time. Like, and I apologize to my Indian friends, but in an Indian restaurant many years ago, as we were sitting down, I said, I am so hungry, I could eat a cow. And that's like, oh God, that's the worst thing to say in an Indian restaurant. And then at the end of that meal, the waiter said, hey, do you want to take your leftover food home? And I said, oh God, I'm not very good about eating leftovers, but do you have a dog in the back you could give it to? Because I was really thinking I didn't want the food to go to waste.
Right.
And so I thought that would be a good thing. Mm-hmm. But occasionally I'll think of some of the goofy things I've said like that'll just make me chuckle. Speaking of chuckles, Chuck, what are some of the goofy things I've said that made me laugh out loud when I thought about them later? I'm trying to think.
Largely about gas.
Oh, and Chuck says I have a lot of funny things about gas. Imagine that. I'm interested in the workings of the GI tract, I guess. But God, I'm trying to think of. But I'll sometimes think of something silly that I've said that just cracks me up. Anyway, I can't think of a great answer right now, but
no, what you said is great.
Yeah. So, but
I think we can feel your joy. I mean, you're just bubbling over. You're just laughing. You're spontaneous. You're just exuding joy. So we can just feel it. You're kind of doing it now anyway. So.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, good. Yes. So, well, likewise. Oh, I love your energy too, Alice. This is so much fun. So, but I'm going to be thinking about that all afternoon because I know there are times that I've erupted in spontaneous laughter thinking of something funny, and I can't remember right now. Oh, I'll tell you tomorrow. I promise.
We'll have you back. We'll have you back on.
Okay. All right. I would love to come back. I would be honored. That would be awesome. So this has been so much fun. Oh gosh.
You're great.
Did you have anything else you want me to answer?
I do. I want to ask you, what puts you into a flow state? Like when you think, when you feel things are easy, you're feeling really productive, things are working out, you're just kind of vibing, you're flowing.
Oh, I love that. Let's see. That's a great question. So like I was saying, there are times when I have a lot of energy and there are times when I don't, but when I'm thinking clearly and I have a lot of energy, I can completely lose track of time while I'm cleaning and sorting. And I would really love to get into that space right now because my house is a mess. But I can just fall into that flow state where I'm just focused on, okay, I'm going to clean this drawer. I can put these pills in this direction and make that fit better. And so something as simple as that, or another time I get into flow states is when I'm making like a photo collage, like I'm just when I'm, like I said, I'm trying to do more creative things.
Yeah.
But on those occasions that I am able to get into the brain space where I'm feeling creative, putting together those photo albums from our family trips, for example. I have one of New Zealand over there on the wall. I don't know if you can see it over there.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so that's another time when I get into a flow state.
Okay.
When,
and
when I'm being creative.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, because that's the right brain is so expansive and flowing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Love
Yeah.
that.
I want more of that. That's fun.
I know,
Stuff.
me too. So, okay,
Yeah.
so when you're in that state or just feeling really good, how do you think that's helped you be more successful in your life and your career? Just that kind of reaching that flow state.
Great questions. Well, it's funny. I was telling you, I've been doing a lot of coaching on a negotiation that I have coming up, and how I've had this previous mindset that I have to be defensive. They don't recognize our value. But switching over into a mindset of joy and collaboration and let's be creative together just gives me a completely different energy when I think about that and envision that conversation. Like it doesn't feel like a fight anymore, which is how I felt 4 years ago when we were redoing our contract. But now it feels like, this is an opportunity to be creative with people that I work with, where we have common goals. And I think that'll be a much more beneficial energy for me, that will be able to create more of a win-win situation for both myself and our group and our administration, because ultimately we're all about our patients. We want the best patient care. That's all it's about.
Yes.
That's all it's about.
Yeah.
And so just to have that joyful, positive energy, I think is going to be huge in that. And and it's going to be a much more fun hour instead of me being stressed out and worried about it, and like having a panic attack before we open the door, and then having giggling that tightness in my chest where I can't think and I can't process, but to have this more relaxed, joyful state where I am able to see that we are going to come create solutions together. It's a much more fun and exciting, hopeful, productive place to be.
Yeah, and I think you touched on it, because when you show up that way, that's kind of like one of the things I love about joy is it exudes from you, and it's like it's infectious.
It's contagious.
It's contagious.
It's so contagious.
Yes.
Yes. I just want to share
you
that
share
energy.
It. Exactly. So that's kind of going to go out there into the ethers of your room and environment, and it's going to kind of, affect them. And so they're all going to feel it and kind of match you on that level. And it's just, like you said, going to be a better experience. I love that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Joy is amazing.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
Good stuff.
I'll have some of that.
Or like the McDonald's will supersize it, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Well, do you have any daily practices or routines or habits that you do to connect you with your joy?
Oh, God, I love every single one of these questions. So I mentioned how exercise is really important to me and sleep is really important to me. So I like to get 9 hours of sleep a night. That was one of the many reasons pathology was hugely exciting to me, is that I would be allowed to have a lifestyle where I could nurture myself first and get enough sleep. Because I found in high school that my brain just does not work if I don't get enough sleep. And in fact, my dad was a big sleeper and he would nap every single day, every single day. And so I get the sleep gene from him. When I get up in the morning, I take advantage of either my spin bike, my barbells, free weights, or my yoga mat. Or I enjoy walking with my husband. Boy, during COVID, we got to know our neighborhood really well. I love getting outside and go for a walk. So sleep, exercise, meditation. Like I said, I'm a struggling meditator, but I like to hang upside down on that thing and meditate for 10 to 15 to 20 to 30 minutes, depending on how relaxed I am and whether I have something scheduled. Other routines, I make tea every morning to take to work. I was never really a coffee drinker. I like tea much better. And I work 3 days a week. So my schedule is such that I have enough time to really recover with a 4-day weekend every week. And then I'm excited to go to work when I go to work on Wednesdays. I like to stay at work late because then it's quiet and I like to sleep in so I feel well rested and then have enough time to work out. And so I tend to come in around 9 or 9:30.
Okay.
And I find that it's beneficial to have a pathologist late in the evening, right? Because then the on-call pathologist doesn't have to come in at 6 o'clock because I'm already there. I'm there till 7 o'clock. And so that works really well. Other routines, yeah, I think those are some of my main critical pillars of healthy living.
Yeah. That's very important. Self-care is very important.
Yeah. And then in terms of eating, I tend to run around at work until I'm so cold that I forget, because I forget to eat when I'm at work. So when I'm so cold that I realize, oh my God, I'm hungry, then I really like these things. I get them at Costco. They're like these chocolate protein drinks. And they do have stevia, but they're like 80% protein by calories and they're so yummy.
Wow.
And so I drink 2 or 3 of these a day and they just kind of keep me going throughout the day. I try to avoid carbs when I'm at work because they slow me down. But then when I come home, I can eat whatever I want.
There you go. And on your days off, you can eat whatever.
And on my days off. Exactly.
That's awesome.
Exactly. So
those are really good
things.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So, and then I love to travel. You know, I love to get out of the routine, right? Right. Because trying something new is also really important to me, getting out of my comfort zone.
Yes.
We have a tandem bicycle, as I mentioned, and we have done a tandem bicycle cruise for our first anniversary back to 2015. It was 2015, yeah. So it was from Istanbul to Athens. So we were on a chartered boat with like 100 other tandem bike couples, and we would go from island to island and bike each successive island. And that was amazing. So it's fun to get out of the routine too and try things that are new, right? Like surfing, totally out of my comfort zone. You know, like I like to say I'm a novice surfer. Okay. Like I'm learning, but it's using the yoga skills I've been doing for 15 years, right? Because it's a lot of balance. And it's using the meditation in terms of it has to be a non-cognitive movement to jump up on the board. Like I have to stop thinking to flow onto the board. And it's fun and challenging. It's just doing something completely new and different.
Using new muscles, using new neuron connections in your brain.
Absolutely. It's learning to podcast, doing something totally new and out of my comfort zone, right? But that's how I'm learning, right? That's how I'm growing. And challenging myself.
Yes, that's so important. It keeps you alive. It keeps that life force flowing.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So you got to keep growing every day.
Yes. Good stuff. I love it. Oh my gosh. That's amazing. Okay. So what about any tips? Do you have any tips maybe to help others find their joy?
Well, let me think. I mean, other than my lived experience, you know, take care of yourself first. Huge fan. Because if you don't have enough, you can't give to others. And I love the analogy, what organ does the heart feed first? And you and I both know that answer is itself. So we have to feed ourselves first. And so I think that would be that would be self-care, I think is the first piece.
Yeah. Okay.
I think.
Kind of like that analogy of when you're on the plane and they tell you to put your oxygen mask on.
Exactly. Exactly. When I was in a parenting class when my daughter was 1, that was the first time I heard that outside of the context of an airplane. And I'm like,
Okay.
oh my God, you're right. And so that has, believe me, that has imprinted on my brain. And that is something that is very near and dear to my heart.
Yeah, I love that. That's very wise.
And my lungs and my brain. Get that oxygen in there.
Yes, very wise. Because if you don't take care of yourself, you really have nothing to give. So
exactly.
Yeah.
We're dead.
Yeah. Very wise. Oh my God, Liz, you are amazing. You're so wise. You're so fun. And I love
this has
talking
been so
to
much
you.
fun. Oh, likewise, Alice.
I could
just
talk
wanna
to
hug
you all day. Mwah. I mean,
Yeah.
but I know you don't have all day because you're a busy physician. So where can people find you? I know they're going to want to connect with you. You have amazing energy. You're just so much joy and fun. So please tell people where they can find you and connect.
Well, thank you. Thank you for asking. Okay. Like I said, I'm a fledgling podcaster. It hasn't quite been released yet, but I have several interviews on the schedule. And the name of the podcast is Mind Surfer MD. And you can email me at mindsurfermd@gmail.com. Because I would love to hear if you would love to be on my podcast, or if you know somebody who could be on my podcast that you think could benefit our listeners, other physicians that have patients that are suffering, or just anybody who is in a place of struggle right now. I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear what you want to hear about. I would love to hear your ideas. So anyway, mindsurfermd@gmail.com. And you and my other friend Hang just said, oh, you better get the Facebook group and you better get the Instagram group. So as soon as I sign off on this call, I'm going to go try to register those two if they're still available.
Good.
And so hopefully I'll have those as well. But yeah, we'll see.
Okay,
so,
that's awesome.
Thank you for asking.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. Thank you for talking with me. Thank you
It's
for
been
being
so much
you.
fun. Oh, thank you for being you, Alice. Yeah, this has just been wonderful. I'm so glad we got this done.
Yes,
Yay.
thank you. All right. Woo-hoo.
All right.
Take care.
Yay. And more joy. Bring it into everything you do, and everybody listening. I'm radiating joy to each single one of you, and I want the ripples to just continue. So
thank you. We feel it. We feel it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, thank you. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Take care. Mwah. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.